All right, so you want to learn how Elon Musk uses first principles thinking.
Yeah.
Well, we're going to deep dive into this article
That
called First Principles, Elon Musk on the Power of Thinking for Yourself
sounds good.
by James Clear. Um, I guess before we even get started,
Yeah.
what I think is so interesting about Elon Musk is that he's not just using this for like technology.
No.
It's like it seems like his whole approach to life.
I think you're exactly right. And the article really digs into this.
Yeah.
What I find fascinating is how he applies this thinking to everything, like business, design,
Uh-huh.
even just problem solving in his everyday life.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, so before we go any further, though,
Right.
can we just, like, for people who have never heard of this before,
Yeah.
how would you just real simply explain what first principles thinking is?
Um, it's kind of like, imagine you're trying to solve a puzzle,
Mm-hmm.
but instead of like trying all the pieces, you know,
You've got all these pieces in front of you. Instead of doing that, you break the whole puzzle down to its most basic, like, elements,
Uh,
the individual colors, shapes, maybe even the cardboard it's printed on. And then you use those fundamental pieces
yeah.
to rebuild the puzzle from the ground up.
Oh, I like that. I like that analogy. So
Yeah.
you're not just accepting it as it is. You're saying,
Right.
okay, what's like the essence of this thing?
Exactly. And that's exactly what Musk did with SpaceX.
Ah, yes. The classic Elon Musk
Right.
SpaceX example.
Yeah.
And I mean, everyone knows he wanted to send a rocket to Mars, but the cost
Oh.
was like astronomical, right?
Yeah, it was crazy. I mean, think about it.
Like tens of millions of dollars.
Way more. The article says it was up to like $65 million for a single rocket.
Oh my gosh.
But that's where Musk's first principles thinking really shines.
Okay.
Because he didn't just accept that, oh, well, rockets have to be that expensive.
Right, right. It's just like that's the way it is, so move on. Yeah, exactly.
So what does she do?
So he started asking questions, but not just any questions. He asked the right questions. He didn't ask, how can I get a cheaper rocket?
Okay.
He said, like, what is a rocket, really? What are the absolute, essential things, the fundamental laws of physics that make this thing work?
So he went like full-on science mode.
Totally.
Okay.
He broke the rocket down
Uh-huh.
to its raw materials, like aerospace-grade aluminum alloys, titanium, carbon fiber.
Okay, so like instead of looking at the whole rocket, which is super expensive, he was like,
Right.
all right, well, what are the little pieces?
Exactly. Like back to the puzzle analogy. It's like,
Yeah.
what are the individual little dots of color?
Yeah, yeah. And I mean, did he find anything surprising there?
He discovered, like, the real shocker was that the cost of those raw materials just on the commodity market was like tiny. Compared to the
Yeah.
price of a finished rocket, we're talking about 2%.
2%.
2%.
So the materials themselves are basically nothing.
Yeah. Almost nothing.
Right.
And that was like his aha moment.
Yeah.
He realized, wait a minute. The fundamental truth here is rockets don't have to be this expensive.
Okay.
It was the way they were being built, the processes, the assumptions of the whole industry
Yeah.
that were making them cost so much.
Got it. So that's how SpaceX was born.
Yeah.
It was like, okay, well, if I strip away all of that,
Uh-huh.
then maybe I can do this for way cheaper.
That's exactly right. He started from scratch,
Okay.
focused on efficiency and innovation in every step of the process.
Mm-hmm.
And he managed to build rockets
Okay.
that were not only cheaper,
Uh-huh.
but also, more reliable and reusable.
So, I mean, who would have thought
Right.
that making rockets could be like a profitable business?
It's wild.
That's crazy.
And it really shows you the power of this kind of thinking, because you're not just like
Yeah.
tinkering around the edges. You're like, no, let's reimagine
Yeah.
what's possible here.
It can be totally different. Okay, so we've got the gist of like how Elon Musk used it for this
Okay.
really specific example, but like how do we actually define it?
Okay, question.
Is there like a
Yeah.
formal definition we can work with?
The article quotes Aristotle,
Gus?
saying a first principle is
Mm-hmm.
the first basis from which a thing is known.
Okay, that's pretty philosophical. Can you
Yeah, it is a bit heady.
break that down for us a little?
Yeah. Basically, it means we need to question every assumption, every truth that we think we know,
Yeah.
and get down to like the bedrock of just undeniable facts.
Okay.
We need to start from those very basic fundamental truths, and from those truths, we can build up.
Okay, I see. It kind of reminds me of the scientific method.
Absolutely.
You observe, you form a hypothesis,
Yeah.
you test, you revise.
Yeah.
Is there a connection there?
There totally is. The article brings up René Descartes,
Oh, yeah.
who I don't know if you remember him from Philosophy 101.
Yeah, yeah.
But he had this method called Cartesian doubt, where he doubted everything until he got to something he couldn't refute.
I think I remember reading about that.
Yeah.
Wasn't he basically saying, like,
Yeah,
don't believe anything you hear, even if it seems obvious?
exactly.
Uh,
And, I mean, we don't have to be that extreme with every decision we make in life.
Right.
But that, like, core idea of questioning assumptions
Yeah.
is really at the heart of both
Okay.
first principles thinking and scientific method.
So it's about stripping away all the biases and the preconceived notions, all the this is how it's always been done.
Right.
And getting to that, like, very core
That's it.
of what you're dealing with.
Exactly.
Okay. But I'm curious, how do we actually apply it? Like, how do we not get stuck in this,
Okay.
like, theoretical space?
That is the question.
Yeah. How do we, like, actually use it?
So there's this thought experiment
Right.
in the article
Yeah.
that I think could really help us visualize this.
Okay.
It was developed by John Boyd,
Okay.
who was like a fighter pilot and military strategist.
Okay, so we've got a fighter pilot thinking about philosophy.
It's more about problem solving
Okay.
than like
Yeah.
straight up philosophy. But so imagine you have a motorboat, a tank, and a bicycle.
Okay. I'm picturing it. What's the thought experiment?
Right. So the idea is to like deconstruct them,
Okay.
break each one down
Yeah.
into its most basic like components, right? So you
Right.
got like an engine, wheels, metal treads, a gun, things like that.
Okay.
And then here's the fun part.
Okay.
You recombine those components in
Yeah.
a new way.
So we're just playing Legos with military hardware?
Kind of. Yeah, but with a purpose.
Okay.
See, if you just focus on improving the form
Okay.
of each vehicle, like making a faster boat or, a more powerful tank,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
you're limited by what already exists.
You're stuck in, like, the convention.
Exactly. You're stuck in that box of this is how boats are supposed to be.
Yeah.
Right. But if you break it down to the core functions like propulsion or mobility or firepower,
Okay.
then you open up this like whole world of possibilities.
Yeah.
You could end up with something totally unexpected.
Like a bicycle with a tank turret?
Well, maybe not that,
Yeah.
but think about it. This thought experiment
Yeah.
actually led Boyd to like conceptualize
Okay.
the idea of a snowmobile.
Okay.
Right. So by combining,
So that is how the snowmobile was invented?
that's the idea. Yeah.
Wow.
That you take these elements of a motorboat,
Yeah.
a tank,
Yeah.
a bicycle,
Yeah.
and you get a vehicle that's perfectly suited for a snowy terrain.
Okay, so the snowmobile is like
Yeah.
the poster child for first principles thinking.
I think so. Yeah.
That's cool. So it's taking the existing things,
Mhm.
breaking it down.
And then being like,
Right.
okay, well, now how can we recombine this in a different way?
Exactly.
Wow. Okay.
And it highlights a key principle here. Innovation often comes from combining ideas
Okay.
from seemingly unrelated fields.
Yeah.
It's about looking beyond, like, the obvious, beyond those traditional boundaries.
Like what other examples can we think of where that's happened?
So think about Gutenberg's printing press.
Oh, okay.
He didn't invent printing paper or ink,
Right.
but he took those existing technologies,
Mhm.
like the screw press that they were using to make wine,
Okay.
movable type paper, ink, combined them in a new way.
Right.
And it totally revolutionized communication.
So he didn't reinvent the wheel.
Exactly.
He just put wheels on something else,
Yes. I love it.
which is perfect.
That's right.
Right. Okay. So, but this isn't just for like inventors or
Right.
entrepreneurs, right?
No, not at all.
How can we,
Yeah.
the regular folks, apply this in our own lives? Well, so the first step is to identify an area where you feel like stuck or you see a problem that you want to solve.
Okay.
Could be anything. Work, relationships, personal goals. I know we were talking about like
Yeah.
the fitness routine earlier.
Yeah, I've been hitting a wall with my workouts.
Okay, so let's break that down.
Okay.
Using first principles. What's the core function
Okay.
you're trying to achieve with your fitness routine?
I guess, like, ultimately, I just want to feel healthier and have more energy.
Okay, so that's our starting point.
Okay.
Now let's question some assumptions.
Okay.
What activities are you currently doing?
Mainly just cardio, like running on the treadmill or using the elliptical.
Okay.
I try to go a few times a week,
Okay.
but, like, I'm not seeing much improvement.
So you're kind of stuck in one particular form of exercise.
Yeah.
But is that like truly the best way to achieve your desired function?
Mm.
Feeling healthier, more energetic
That's a good point. Like, I'm probably limiting myself. Yeah.
by sticking to what I've always done.
Yeah.
Maybe my body needs something different.
Exactly. Have you considered, other activities, strength training, yoga, swimming, or even just getting more movement in your daily life?
I haven't really thought about it that way. I've
Yeah.
been so focused on the,
Yeah.
going to the gym, doing cardio,
Right.
that I haven't thought about,
Yeah.
is this actually giving me what I want?
And that's a common trap that we fall into, right?
Yeah.
We get so used to doing things a certain way that we just forget
Yeah.
to ask if it's still the best approach.
Okay, I'm starting to see how this can be, really useful.
Yeah.
But what if I break everything down? And
Yeah.
I'm still not sure,
Okay.
what to do, what's the best solution?
Well, remember, first principles thinking is an iterative process.
Okay.
It's not about finding the perfect answer right away. It's
Right.
about constantly questioning
Yeah.
and exploring and refining your approach.
You might need to, experiment with different solutions
Yeah.
or gather more information or even go back to your first principles
Right?
and, reevaluate them.
So it's this continuous loop of
Yeah.
questioning and testing
Yeah. Keep going, keep refining.
and that's where the real innovation happens.
Exactly. First principles thinking helps you, break free from conventional thinking
Yeah.
and explore new possibilities. It's about becoming, a more independent thinker.
Yeah.
Someone who doesn't just accept things
Right.
at face value,
Yeah.
but, digs deeper and asks why.
I like that. So it's almost like you're becoming your own scientist,
Yes.
experimenting, seeing what works. Okay, this has been super helpful.
Good.
But before we move on, I think it's important to distinguish between first principles thinking
Okay.
and something like continuous improvement.
Right.
Aren't they both about making things better?
They are, but they approach it from different angles.
Okay.
So continuous improvement is about, optimizing an existing system.
Okay.
It's like fine-tuning a bicycle
Okay.
to make it go faster or be more efficient.
So you're making small changes within
Yes.
a defined set of boundaries.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But first principles thinking is it challenges those boundaries. It's
Yeah.
hold on a second. What if we need something completely different
Right.
to achieve that core function? What if we ditch the bicycle altogether
Yeah.
and invent the airplane?
So continuous improvement is making the best possible bicycle. First principles why are we even on bicycles?
Yes.
Yes.
Exactly. And it's important to remember that, both approaches have their place.
Okay.
Sometimes continuous improvement is all you need.
Right.
But when you're facing a truly complex problem,
Yeah.
or you're trying to achieve, a breakthrough,
Yeah.
that's when first principles thinking can be a real game changer.
So it's not about picking one or the other.
Right.
It's understanding when to apply each one.
Exactly. And even when you are using first principles thinking, you'll probably still need to employ continuous improvement along the way.
Okay.
Think about SpaceX. They didn't just come up with the idea for a reusable rocket and then it just magically appeared.
Right.
They had to go through tons of iterations, testing, refining, and improving the design.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. So first principles is putting you on a different path or trajectory,
Yes.
but it doesn't eliminate all of that
Right.
hard work.
Exactly.
Okay. So we've talked about how Elon Musk used it for space travel.
Right.
We've talked about how we can apply it to our own lives.
Yeah.
But is there anything else, any pitfalls or things we should keep in mind?
Well, I think one thing is, how do we know we're actually getting to the true first principles?
Yeah. That's a really good point.
You could just end up, replacing
Yeah.
one set of assumptions with another.
How do we know when we've hit bedrock?
That's the challenge, right? It's kind of like peeling back the layers of an onion,
Okay.
You keep asking why until you reach a point where the answer is just kind of self-evident.
Okay.
Something that can't be broken down any further.
Can you give me an example of that?
Sure. So let's go back to your fitness routine. You said your core function is to feel healthier and have more energy.
Yeah.
But what does healthier actually mean? Is it about losing weight? Is it about building muscle? Is it about improving cardiovascular health?
I guess I haven't really thought about it that deeply. I just kind of assume that those things are all part of
Yeah.
being healthy, you know?
And that's fine, like, as a starting point. But
Yeah.
to get to the true first principles, you got to keep asking why.
Yeah.
Like, why do you want to lose weight? Why do you want to build muscle? What are the, like, underlying reasons behind those goals?
Whoa. Okay. So we're getting pretty existential here.
Maybe a little bit,
Okay.
but it's important.
Okay.
Maybe you want to lose weight because you think it'll make you more attractive.
Okay.
But why is that important to you?
Okay.
Maybe it's because you want to find a partner, but why is that important?
Right.
Maybe it's because you want to feel loved and connected.
Okay. I see where you're going with this. So it's like you stripping away those like
Yes.
superficial layers and getting to those core
Yeah.
like human needs that are driving my
Exactly.
Right.
And once you understand those core desires,
Yeah.
you can start to build solutions that are really aligned with what you truly want.
Okay.
Maybe it's not about losing weight at all.
Okay.
Maybe it's about finding activities that make you feel more confident and connected.
So first principles thinking is not just about breaking things down. It's also about like understanding the why
Absolutely.
behind our actions.
And it's about becoming more self-aware
Yeah.
and making choices that are aligned with our, deepest values and desires.
Okay, so I'm starting to see how powerful this is,
Yeah.
but also how it can be a bit overwhelming.
Can be.
It's like you're always questioning everything,
Yeah.
even your own motivations.
And that's why I think it's important to approach it with a sense of curiosity and playfulness.
Okay.
Don't get too bogged down in the details. Just keep asking those questions and see where they lead you.
Yeah. It's like an adventure, a journey.
That's a great way to put it.
Okay. Well, I'm definitely feeling inspired to give this a try. I'm already like thinking about all of the different areas of my life where I could apply this. So
Awesome. I'm glad to hear that.
So to wrap things up,
Yeah.
if you are ready to ditch the this is how it's always been done
Uh-huh.
and embrace a more, innovative approach to life,
Yeah.
give first principles thinking a try. Challenge your assumptions.
Yes.
Ask the right questions and see what new possibilities emerge. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into first principles thinking with Elon Musk. We'll catch you next time
That's good.
for another fascinating exploration.